Before I get to Tom, I'm going to do a short story about the Toy Hall of Fame, and there's a reason for it because it actually came up at the Pentagon briefing yesterday. And when I'm going to talk about the game Risk, I just sent you a clip from YouTube of Seinfeld and the Risk game. So when I get into that, I'm going to want you to play that clip. Or if you want to look it up yourself, you can. It's Seinfeld Risk game. It's a 1-minute clip, but I just sent it to you via your mail. So, all right. Apparently, the guy at the Pentagon was upset that they didn't pick Battleship instead. So, well, that'll lead me into Tom. So I'll do that before Tom. And I'm going to get some more coffee. So while you get that set up, I'm going to get some coffee. I'll be back. Who's in the phone? Your phone? Oh, what's wrong? Something wrong?
Teddy had a lot of coughing during the day.
Is he staying here? Okay. Is there any cans of pop? I couldn't find any yesterday.
Maybe I should go too.
Why don't you do that? You okay? Thank you. Yeah, why don't you do that, dear?
She's calling to make an appointment for him. So maybe they take you by appointment.
For the man responsible. This marks the 175th homicide of the year, tying the record set in 2020. In Columbus, Olivia Eugenio.
And the State Highway Patrol has released dash cam footage of the traffic stop that led to the arrest of now former third-string Buckeyes quarterback Jack Miller. Clay Gordon reports.
Miller told law enforcement he never had a drink of alcohol when he was stopped and later arrested for OVI.
Hey, Jack, how many alcoholic beverages did you have? You had nothing? Hey, I just want to let you know, like, yeah, man, we're all some football players. So, like, I would never do like that.
Miller refused to take a breathalyzer at the scene, but he was given several field sobriety tests prior to his arrest. Miller has been since suspended from the team, and he'll have his first court hearing later this week. I'm Clay Gordon.
And I'm Daniel Barnett on the Ohio News Network.
Calls and conversations continue in less than 3 minutes as the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues after this.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Open enrollment for healthcare.gov is here. If you're uninsured or have a job that doesn't offer insurance, check out healthcare.gov. Due to a new law, prices are lower and more people.
Book your perfect stay quickly and easily in the Booking.com app. Take the stress out of booking a vacation. Book now, pay later with free cancellation options, plus extra perks with Genius, only at Booking.com.
Are you sure you know where the impound yard is?
Ohio.org. Teens are experiencing gambling in more ways due to increasing gaming features that mimic gambling, such as loot boxes, gaming skins, and virtual currency. Help prevent youth gambling at changethegameohio.org. This message is brought to you by Ohio for Responsible Gambling.
Menards Enchanted Forest has been a Christmas tradition for over 60 years. We invite the whole family to come take a stroll and find everything you need to deck the halls. Find that perfect tree to display your ornaments, ribbons, garland, and tree toppers. Create a warm and cozy space with decorative accents and hanging decor. Find it all at Menards Enchanted Forest.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
I'm not buying till I check Dome Ford.
Most of us are faced with uncertainty every day. Your job, your finances, sporting events, schooling for your children, and so much more. With so much uncertainty surrounding you, there is one auto dealership that you can be certain about, and that's Doane Ford. You can be certain that you always get a great deal and the best service afterwards. Being in business for over 50 years has given Doane Ford the reputation of being a strong, reliable dealership. Be certain. Choose Doane Ford. Online at DoaneFord.com.
I'm not buying till I check Dome Ford.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. Here's a look at your local weather forecast for your Tuesday. A mix of sun and clouds, an afternoon high near 66. Partly cloudy with the overnight low being 36 degrees. And then you'll see plenty of sunshine mixing in with just a few clouds around for your Wednesday with highs in the low to mid 60s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Live from the Robinson Auto Group studios in the heart of the Ohio Valley, this is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
48 degrees with 48 across the board. 48 at the airport, 48 here in my home studios, 48 at the Robinson Auto Group studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Clear morning this morning. Going to be a sunny start today, but then the clouds will begin to build up a little bit this afternoon. Maybe a few sprinkles coming in this evening and overnight tonight. Daytime high 66. Going to be in the 60s for most of the work week, then drop down into the 40s for the weekend. Yes, there's the possibility of a mix. That's what Aaron Myler's calling it now. A mix this weekend. That means somewhere amongst the rain, showers and stuff, you might see a little bit of white stuff coming out of the sky. So, but not anything big or major, and it's just a possibility. It's just there. Yesterday he said snow. Today he said just calls it a mix. It's like he's hiding it. He's calling it a mix. Where have we been? Where are we going? Ohio County Schools, on a narrow vote, extended their mask mandate for at least another 2 weeks. WVU President E. Gordon Gee creating some controversy in Morgantown after taking an advisory role with a newly created no-degree university that has some folks feeling there's something not quite right about that new university. Governor Justice, even though the first two were not successful, has announced a Do It for Baby Dog 3 vaccination contest, theoretically focused on kids 5 to 11, encourage them to get vaccinated. What it will do is give the governor a chance to be a game show host once again. Mountain State officials are praising passage of the bipartisan infrastructure bill. We'll talk about that with our Metro News reporter, Brad McElhaney, who listened in to Senator Manchin and some state Democrats talking about the BIF bill. Hey, did you get that BIF? BIF? They call it the BIF bill. It could be like your bill. BIF bill, bipartisan infrastructure, BIF. It's okay. Never mind. I just thought there was a BIF and BIF. Okay. Will there be a worker walkout on Black Friday? Some are saying it could be Blackout Friday. Ted Cruz and other GOP members are upset with Big Bird. God help us. And a judge has jokingly banished the elf on the shelf. Some fun stuff we'll get to coming up a little bit later on. Hey, the National Toy Museum has announced their inductees into the Toy Hall of Fame. We take a look at this every year. Among those who have been inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame are American Girl dolls. I've heard of those. I guess I've seen some of those. Ariana, granddaughter, plays with them, I guess. American Girl dolls, yes, they're a big thing. Sand? Sand? Okay. Sand has been introduced into the... Well, that's... Every kid has played in sand, right? So I guess it's there as well.
Who hasn't played in a sandbox?
Yeah, if you could find somebody who grew up without playing in the sandbox somewhere, somehow, God knows where they grew up or what kind of childhood they had, you know? I mean, they are... It's the I'm not sure I'd call it a toy, but it's the quintessential American plaything, right? Right. And also, the game of Risk. You remember Risk? It was like a game of worldwide domination. It's been around since 1959, and it's made its mark on our culture. For example, I don't know how many of you remember, it's one of my favorite scenes from Seinfeld, when on a subway train, Kramer and Newman are actually playing a game of Risk.
Are you sure you know where the impound yard is?
Oh, stop stalling. Come on.
I can't think. There's all this noise.
Or is it because I've built a stronghold around Greenland? I've driven you out of Western Europe? And I've left you teetering on the brink of complete annihilation.
I'm not beaten yet. I still have armies in the Ukraine.
The Ukraine. You know what the Ukraine is? It's a sitting duck. A road apple, Newman. The Ukraine is weak. It's feeble. I think it's time to put the hurt on the Ukraine.
I come from Ukraine. You not say Ukraine weak.
Yeah, well, we're playing a game here, pal.
Ukraine is came to you? How about I take your little bonus?
So, I remember that scene, Ukraine is weak. I come from Ukraine. Risk, the board game, gets involved. Apparently, though, Tom Scudieri is here with us. Apparently, Tom, your Pentagon spokesman friend wasn't happy about Risk getting in there and Battleship not.
You know, I could not wait to ask this question yesterday at the press briefing. And I went to the list to see the previous inductees into the Toy Hall of Fame. And there's others like Sand that aren't particularly toys. It's very interesting to see what got in and what did not get in, okay? So, you know, Risk, as you said, Howard, is a game of world domination, and it sort of fits what we call J5. You know, that's the Joint Chiefs has J1 intelligence. So J5 is planning world domination. So that's the Risk board game, very popular in the military. But among those that didn't make the cut in the 2021 was Battleship, which is a game that John Kirby, who was an admiral.
You sunk my battleship.
That's right. He was an admiral in the U.S. Navy, and he was, you know, I said to him, you know, they got Risk in. He goes, I'm shocked and outraged. And I'm afraid that I'm going to leave the briefing and go write a letter, a really mean, nasty letter. He was laughing when he said it, of course. I want to be clear to the listeners. But, you know, he got it, too. It was funny that, you know, in the transcript that they put out this morning, I guess, of the briefing, clearly the person doing the transcript does not realize that Risk and Battleship are proper names, you know, and they should be capitalized. So it looks like, oh, there's a risk in the world and the battleship's at risk, and you know, that's how things get confused. But you know, I wrote it from a military point of view, and the only other pure military toy that is in the Hall of Fame is G.I. Joe.
Really?
And yeah, G.I. Joe. Now, some people, Dungeons and Dragons, which is a game, some people consider it a tactical game. So, you know, if you want to stretch the rules a little bit, it's a tactical game. But G.I. Joe is the only other one with Risk, as I said.
It's interesting. I can't think of what else might be in there, but that's interesting. That's the only, so Risk and G.I. Joe really the only directly military-related toys.
Yeah, I'm guessing, like I said, Dungeons and Dragons. You know, some people it's a strategy game, so maybe that's it. But no, but only, you know, directly we go. That's definitely military. You know, definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
It's an interesting list to see. It's actually very interesting how they I would say it's a loose interpretation of what a toy is, but I think the idea is that they're iconic things, and they've creativity in children, perhaps, and sand. Sand. You can make sand castles. I guess we could stretch it there. There's military, right? Sand castle.
I guess so. That's Tom. I will say that's stretching it quite a good bit.
I know. I'm in a
Now,
stretchable mood.
so are you team Tom? Are you team Risk or team Battleship?
Well, I'm definitely a Risk player. I mean, I was listening to your intro, and I forgot about that great Seinfeld. It came back to me obviously when I was listening to it, but I have the original. When it came out, my parents bought it for me because I wanted it. They had a great ad on television to introduce the game, and it was like these, interesting people playing. And the tagline was "Risk, it's a poker game," with that sort of pseudo-English accent to sort of get us all thinking it's intelligent and really important. And I had it, and I played it, and then when I became an adult, there was a friend of mine who was even more of an enthusiast, and he had two other guys. So the four of us would have almost weekly Risk games, and it was a lot of fun. I guess it's our version of a poker party, but it was a Risk party, and we'd wear secret ideas about our strategies. We'd change them all up. It was a lot of fun. Hey, that's what games are supposed to be, right?
When my wife, in our early days, before we had kids, my wife and I and two other couples, we would get together, frequently on the weekends just to have a little gathering at somebody's house. And we ended up playing Risk all the time. Thing about Risk is it's a long, it's not a quick game. It's a long game. It can take more than a single day if you choose to.
That's right.
It's a strategy game. You really can play it out. Some of those games got pretty long, but we had a lot of fun. It was just fun to play Risk on we played it every Friday night or most Friday nights. It was kind of fun. Battleship is a quick in and out kind of game. You play it, you win, you lose, you're done. But boy, Risk can be. First of all, Risk really is a strategy game. You have to, you got to think a little bit. It's not just roll the dice and move three spaces and pick up a card and see what it says. You really have to strategize what you're doing. I had fun with Risk.
Kramer was right though. Ukraine, he was right in one sense. Ukraine is a key element in that game because of its location on the board, and it could either be a huge, wonderful buffer to launch east or west from if you build up properly, or it could just be a sieve for your forces. How's that for going into the weeds?
It would be interesting though to know how many of our current top military leaders, for example, played Risk when they were kids.
That's a good question.
Was it a teaching tool in a sense for them? We talk a lot about people who fly drones, really in the military now. Got a lot of experience with video games. Games actually can sometimes be a good tool and a good training tool for real life. And I would bet you that some of our top military leaders were Risk players and pretty good ones at that, I'm guessing.
This is a nice little mission for me. Thank you.
and now you've got something to work on. 8:21 in the morning on the Watchdog Morning Show. National correspondent Tom Squitieri with us here this morning. Tom, I spent an awful lot of time with you talking about Afghanistan, but there still are lingering issues in Afghanistan that I think I want to keep on taking a look at over there. Still trying to get both the members of the American service as well as civilians out. We still have civilians over there. That's one of the issues there. And there's concern, I guess, that ISIS-K is starting to grow in strength because of what's happened in Afghanistan, too.
We're going to see, Howard, I believe, these foundation issues of Afghanistan for a significant period of time. On the first one you spoke of people still in Afghanistan, yesterday the Pentagon acknowledged that there was a memo sent to Defense Department personnel, civilian and military. They're trying to create now a central database of who is still there in regards to military family members of U.S. troops, still in Afghanistan. There are no U.S. troops in Afghanistan, but some family members are there.
Right.
So this list would pull that together. Last week, almost every day we were getting, based on testimony, we were hearing different numbers of Americans, green card holders, permanent residents, et cetera, still in Afghanistan. So that number still is very fluid. So this is one attempt by the Pentagon to help the State Department get a much better number and perhaps, more precise information on the status of these people. This is going to take a while to resolve, and a lot of it depends on the cooperation that the Taliban can provide. And now I'll segue into your other point about ISIS, and that's a big problem that Taliban faces. We may face that, of course, in 4 to 6 to 8 months or some when it reconstitutes itself as a threat, ISIS-K. But right now, they're attacking places in Afghanistan. In other words, places that the Taliban is now in charge of. And so the Taliban faces its own terrorist threat within Afghanistan from ISIS-K. At the same time, as ISIS-K gets stronger from these attacks, it becomes more of a threat to the nations in the area and to the United States and other democracies farther away from the Afghan borders. Excuse me. So, this is always going to be an issue of terrorism in Afghanistan, in a large part because of the terrain and the ability for various groups. And I like to always remind listeners that there is about 13 to 15 terrorist groups somewhere in Afghanistan, the Pentagon will tell you, in small groups necessarily, but there's groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS-K, which are not small and which do have a potential to be dangerous to us.
So we may be, quote, out of Afghanistan, but we're going to have to keep a very close eye on it, probably for a long time to come. I felt that we were accomplishing nothing in Afghanistan, so I supported the idea of pulling out. But we didn't really, in my mind, we didn't really make a lot of changes in Afghanistan while we were there. So problems still very much exist. Although it's one of those places in the world, Tom, where I sometimes wonder if anything can be done.
Yeah, I think the nature, and this is with full respect, having been there, I think the nature of the Afghan geography and the way that tribes have risen over the centuries, it makes the central rule, as benevolent or efficient as it is, difficult for anybody, let alone a government that was sort of put together after 9/11 and never really had the full support of many Afghans. They weren't disliked, they just weren't supported. And I think the Taliban is seeing the same issues right now, whereas they had much more firm control the last time they were in power. The whole devil that they unleashed, of terrorism within Al-Qaeda, that was committed to flourish, and now they're dealing with it, the problems of trying to run a country as well that is not unified, even if it dislikes the Taliban or not, if I'm making myself clear. So the efforts were smart, but as you pointed out, they weren't ultimately successful from our point of view. Now the question is, how do you mitigate what's going on in there in a way that best serves our defensive issues as well as those of our friends and allies? And we do want to help the Afghan people who really are in dire straits, for food and medicine.
Well, and human rights abuse is already beginning to be seen over there, for sure.
Yes, I didn't mean to minimize that. I was just, thinking more of the practical stuff.
No, I wasn't criticism. I'm just saying, I think, it was almost immediate once we pulled out, the Taliban began to revert back to their old ways, particularly in the way they treat women and so on. And they got a reprieve, I guess, for 20 years. So maybe that was something that we were able to accomplish. But it was just a point.
Hey, Howard, before we go, and I know we're running out of time, and I always hate to do this to you, but I forgot to send this to you. I just wanted to let you know this because West Virginia is close to Washington, D.C. Today and tomorrow and Thursday, it's they're going to honor Arlington Cemetery, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers, 100 years. And today and tomorrow, did you talk about this already? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. Today and tomorrow, citizens like you and I can actually walk like the guard route, guarding the tomb. We could do that walk and place the flower on the tomb. Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't send. I just remembered about it because Tuesday. I'm a little off today. So today and tomorrow, open to the public, free. And you could do this. And then on Thursday they're going to have a much more a ceremony throughout the cemetery and a flyover. But, it's going to be beautiful weather here, I guess. And according to Biff, you guys we get your weather a day later. So, people who want to come down to D.C., anyway, that might be something. It certainly is one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities.
Yeah, it's an experience you'll never get again. I am always awed. Maybe is that the right word? I don't know what the word. When I go to the tomb and watch it and watch the changing of the guard and so on, it's. I mean, I don't care who you are, you can't help but be moved by that whole experience. Boy, to be able to get down on that, on the tomb, that would be a fascinating experience. Last time I was there, there were some kids, and I'm not talking about little children because I get that. I mean, they were like young teenagers. They were hanging around in the back, making noise and yelling. Honest to goodness, I wanted to go and say to the guard, shoot him. You know, I mean, if you can't show respect at the Tomb of the Unknown, then just please don't be there.
Right. Don't come. Right.
It's just, it's a tough thing. Give me 30 seconds, well, 60 seconds, if you will. The infrastructure bill passed, the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Biff didn't like my analogy. We call it the Biff bill, and Biff's our producer, so it could be his bill. But anyway, the bipartisan infrastructure bill passed, so looks like a lot of projects money will be flowing all across America here in the pretty near future. A win for Joe Biden?
I think so. I mean, it's tough to characterize a win for the president. He's going to have a rough winter coming up for a lot of reasons. But when shovels hit the ground in the spring, as they should, and people start seeing the visible, results of this bill, I think that helps the president in his second year in office. I do. The question is if the projects will get started. This is why I always thought Barack Obama made a mistake trying to do health care first as opposed to infrastructure, because people see the results of infrastructure. And as you said, Howard, it's a bipartisan bill.
Here in West Virginia, Republican Senators McKinley and Republican Congressman McKinley voted for it. His opponent in the fall or next year, because of redistricting, will be another current incumbent, Congressman Alex Mooney, who voted against it. I can see this will be a big campaign issue come election time between those two in their primary. McKinley said it's good for the state. I'm not playing politics. I'm going to vote for what's good for the state. The state will get a huge amount of money. A lot of new projects will get done. And Mooney played the political card. Well, if we allow this to happen, the next thing you know, the liberals will control. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the next election. And it clearly
well, let's see if McKinley has a series of ads standing in front of each new project in West Virginia.
Well, McKinley can do it because he voted for it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Let's see if Mooney does. That's the one thing that just irritates the bejabbers out of me, and we've had it here in West Virginia. Senators or congressmen who vote against a project, of the funding, and then show up for the groundbreaking. No, you shouldn't be allowed there. I'm sorry, you voted no. It's not your money. You wanted us not to have it.
Yeah, well, exactly.
All right, Tom, always good talking to you. I appreciate it. And I think maybe I'm going to go play Risk this weekend.
All right. Thanks, Howard. See you later. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Tom Squitieri is our national correspondent. On a daily basis, he covers the Pentagon. He has been a correspondent around the world. He's been in Afghanistan and many other hot spots of the world. Has worked for most of the major news organizations. The USA Today was a longtime reporter there. And it's always good to get his expertise, analyses. And Biff, he's always got a good sense of humor, too.
Yes, he does.
Did you play Risk or Battleship? Were you either one of those games you ever played as a kid?
Not Risk, but Battleship for sure.
Yeah. Actually, I played Battleship more as a kid and Risk as a young adult. Again, we played that with a group of our friends. I played Battleship as a kid. And I don't want to say anything else because I think Teddy is in the car and therefore he could conceivably be listening. So I can't say anything more about Battleship at Christmas time. All right, 8:32, 28 till the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Are workers going to walk out on Black Friday? Is the elf going to stay on the shelf? Got a couple of stories I want to share with you coming up here on the Watchdog Morning Show. We'll have more on the infrastructure bill with Brad McElhenney from Metro News. Some thoughts on what Senator Manchin had to say about it yesterday. McKinley, Capito, the state Democrats held a press conference yesterday in Charleston. Brad will kind of pull all of that together for us on infrastructure conversation in the 9 o'clock hour. But right now, we'll check some headlines for you. The Big Seven is here. They've got Ohio Valley headlines, and we will follow that with Tony Caridi. He's got the Morning Mountaineer report. Again, we'll probably have a basketball/football conversation today on Tony Caridi's Mountaineer report. On the voice of the Mountaineers in the Ohio Valley, the Watchdog.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time for your...
I can do a second break if you want me to, Biff. All right, whatever you want to do, but I just got some stories to share and some things we can talk about. So if you want me to take a break, I'm perfectly okay. All right.
Accessible to all by ensuring it never goes to waste. Together, we can help end hunger. Learn more at zerohunger.zerowastefoundation.org.
And away we go. It's here, tip-off time tonight for the WVU men's basketball team as they begin regular season play. It will mark the 113th season of WVU hoops. For head coach Bob Huggins, it will start his 40th season as a head coach. And the opening game of the year has been good for the Mountaineers through the years. In fact, West Virginia at home is 102-10 in home openers. As for Bob Huggins, he now needs just 2 more wins to tie Bob Knight for 5th place and 3 more wins to tie Roy Williams for 4th place in all-time victories. Huggins begins this season as the 3rd winningest active coach behind only Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Boeheim. As for this Mountaineer team, roster-wise, 7 new faces, 8 returnees. In fact, West Virginia has 7 seniors, including 5 that are in their 5th year of eligibility due to COVID-19. One streak West Virginia will take into this season is made 3-point shots. West Virginia has made at least 1 3-pointer in 729 consecutive games. As for the opposition, Oakland, their head coach is Greg Campy, and he's been around almost as long as Bob Huggins. In fact, tonight will mark the 38th season for Greg as the head coach at Oakland. The last time the two teams it was close. December of 2012, West Virginia outlasted Oakland by a score of 76-71. Pre-game coverage tonight begins at 6, tip at 7, right here on MSN. And that's today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from Learfield.
On the last talk line on Metro News, former Governor Earl Ray Tomlin remembering the late House Speaker Bob Kiss.
It was great to work with. He was a man of integrity. He told you he would do something, if you could go to the bank on it. And, yeah, we both had similar philosophies when it comes to how to manage the people's money.
Keep up on what's happening in West Virginia. Talk line weekdays at 10:06 right here on this Metro News radio station.
It's the Nailer Salute to Service Night, Saturday, November 13th, puck drop 7:10, with a specialty jersey auction. Proceeds benefit the It's About the Warrior Foundation. Camo hat giveaway for veterans and active duty. Bring your military ID. The U.S. Air Force swear-in ceremony and post-game autographs. Salute to Service Night and 30 seasons. You gotta get back to Nailers Hockey. Get tickets. Call 304-234-GOAL or go to wheelingnailers.com.
Are you traveling? Working a little bit too much? Is your fur baby starting to get a little shaggy? Let Dirty Paws be your one-stop shop for all of your pet care needs. Stop in and see us at 202 18th Street or give us a call at 304-639-7754 to schedule your appointments for dog grooming, doggy daycare, and dog boarding today.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Attorney Tom McIntyre.
Life. It may knock you down, but you don't have to stay that way. I'm Tom McIntyre. I'm a bankruptcy attorney, and I'm here to help you. Give us a call, and we'll send you a copy of my free book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. It's an interesting read, and it'll explain bankruptcy to you like no other book does. Give us a call. We're here to help.
Call Thomas E. McIntyre and Associates at 304-232-8600. Allow us to help put you back on the road to financial success.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Oh, there's something so real about living local, and I know without a doubt I'm not alone. And I love living local. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Said I love living local. WTRF is working for me. The Ohio Valley is where I love to be.
Toyota's full lineup of four-wheel and all-wheel drive vehicles combine our legendary reliability with the safety and handling necessary to take on any terrain, element, or adventure that comes your way. And with 12 available models, including Camry, Venza, and the all-new Corolla Cross, there's a style for everyone. Visit buyatoyota.com for the latest offers and to find a dealer near you. Toyota, your four-wheel and all-wheel drive specialists. Let's go places.
Friday nights in the fall are reserved for high school football, and the 20-year tradition continues on Metro News. It's Summit Community Bank High School Game Night with Fred Persinger and Dave Jekyllin. Celebrating 20 years of bringing you up-to-the-minute scores, conference standings, player and coach interviews, and more. Tune in all season long to follow your favorite school. Friday nights from 9:30 to midnight. Summit Community Bank High School Game Night on this Metro News station.
Conversation you care about from people you know. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
.43, 17 till the hour here. Watchdog Morning Show. 48 degrees right across the board. 48 up at the airport. 48 here at my home studios. 48 downtown at the Robinson Auto Group Studios in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Clear and sunny throughout the area this morning. We are looking for it to cloud up a little bit as the day goes on. Daytime high 66. Maybe a little bit of sprinkles this afternoon. Not this afternoon. Probably into the evening hours overnight tonight, but not a lot of rain. Most of us probably won't see any at all. Going to stay fairly pleasant and warm for at least the work week. The weekend will cool down into the 40s, and we will see more rain over the weekend, and perhaps what Aaron Myler is calling a mix. A mix means we'll probably see we might see a little bit of snow.
Flakes.
Not any accumulation, nothing like that. Just a few flakes, just little flakes.
I don't think we can
flurry or two.
Yeah, I don't think we can actually call it in terms of snow. I think it's going to be either flakes or flurries, and we probably won't even see them. So, I mean,
they'll come sauntering down one by one in the dark of night, and we won't even know it was there.
Right, we'll wake up.
Not going to be enough to accumulate on the ground, so the morning we won't see it.
Yeah, we'll wake up in the morning, and I'm sure it'll still be wet from the rain and everything, but we won't see. We probably won't even know unless you get up early and have to go to the bathroom and see it out your window. That might be the only time you see the flakes.
There you go. It is, you heard Tony talking about some of the Mountaineer things happening today. We had a couple of things for you here on the Ohio Valley home of the Mountaineers. Today, every Tuesday, the WVU press conference with Neil Brown. He's got a lot. Lucy, you got a lot of splaining to do. You got a lot of, I guess you can't call them anything but mistakes that were made this past weekend. Now, people saying yesterday, I got some people saying, come on, Howard, you were way too hard on the team and on Brown, because the week before they played well. And that's true. I mean, that's true. But boy, it was just a bad game this week. Anyways, what's the coach have to say about it? Neil Brown Coaches Show today, coming up at noon here on the Watchdog, followed by Butch Maxwell, who's filling in for Bill DeFabio's Variety Show. I guess it's the Butch Maxwell Variety Show. Now, he calls it something else. What's he call it? Goofing around?
No, Butch, I think it's a complete waste
of... No real subject. He's got some kind of crazy name for it.
A complete waste of airtime.
Complete waste of time. There you go. That's right. A complete waste of time.
Yes.
That really encouraged you to listen, right? A complete waste of. I did just get a great kick out of Butch. I've known Butch and we were in high school together, but he's really entertaining. Hey, I hope he tells some stories today. He and his wife were in New York City this weekend, and this past weekend. They saw 3 shows. They went to some great restaurants. I saw it all on Facebook. I hope he tells some New York City stories when he's on today. All right, it is 14. So we've got the Coaches Show, the Coaches Press Conference coming up today at noon. Butch will be on after that. Dave Weekly is in with the hotline from 3 to 5. And then tonight at 6 o'clock, Biffy, we got basketball, believe it or not.
Yes, speaking of the Mountaineers and Coach Bob Huggins, and if you paid attention to Tony Caridi's report and some of the coaches that he's now going to end up passing, and just some of those names to be even mentioned and the company of those names is just, I mean, unbelievable. Roy Williams, Bobby Knight, Coach K at Duke. I mean, just legends that at some point that Huggins here real soon is going to pass. But, yes, the Mountaineers basketball season kicks off tonight at 6 o'clock. The Coliseum in Morgantown, Oakland, will be taking on the Mountaineers pregame at 6 o'clock. Tip-off at 7 from the Coliseum.
And you will hear that here on the Watchdog. 304-232-8255 is the CityNet hotline. I'm sorry, who's here, Biff?
I was told John Kepner.
Hi, welcome to the morning show.
Good morning, Howard. How are you feeling today?
Yes. I'm feeling pretty good. I got my coffee here, my cherry cola zero sugar here in front of me. I'm feeling good.
Sorry to hear that. Anyway, Nancy was in doing some Christmas shopping yesterday, and
wait a minute, at your place?
Yes. We have gift certificates.
At the funeral home.
Yes. It's a gift.
Okay.
It's the gift that keeps on giving until you use it.
Okay, all right.
So she wasn't exactly sure if you would need an XL or an XXL. Could you come in for a measurement? She said she had to have some room for you to be able to turn in your grave, so I didn't think an XL would be big enough.
My gift, huh?
Well, you see something wrong with that?
I guess not.
I mean, come on in. We'll get you measured. It will take no time at all.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. I'll see what I can do.
We'll even have some coffee for you.
Thank you very much.
Make sure it's decaf.
Oh, no, we'll give you full strength. This might speed the process up.
All right. Well, thanks for your call. Thanks for alerting me to one of my gifts. I didn't know that my wife was thinking that way. But
to have a healthy, good day, but that's kind of anti-business. You know what I mean? So we'll just say good day.
I don't think that was really John Kepner.
No. No.
I don't think so. I'm sure my wife did not go and get me a funeral in a cardboard casket that will burn. Although we drove through the cemetery recently, and we're looking at family graves and so on. And I said, we need to pick out a plot and stuff when we're reaching that age of life. And now I think about it, she did say, "Don't need too big a one." I'm not sure just exactly what that meant. All right, 9 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Phone lines open if you want to use the CityNet hotline like Mr. Kepner did. 304-232-8255. You feel free to use that. 304-232-TALK. The text line is also open at 304-214-1600. 304-214-1600. It is the Watchdog Radio Network text line, and you're welcome to use that as well. We're talking a lot of holiday stuff today. Biff, you know what the elf on the shelf is, right?
Oh, yeah. I think, actually, I think my sister has it for the little ones.
It's an elf that is, one of Santa's elves, and it sits on a shelf and kind of keeps an eye on kids, right? And it moves from room to room during the holiday season, so the kids never are sure where the elf is going to be. Therefore, the kids are always being monitored to be good. Now, I got to tell you, personally, I think the elf on a shelf is really creepy. I have a real problem with it. To me, I don't know. Moms and dads sometimes like it because it's a way to kind of let the kids know that somebody is watching you. I'm not sure that's the message I want to impart to my kids, or to Teddy now, that there's a big brother is always watching you. So I've never been a big fan of Elf on the Shelf. Some of you I know have been. I think I got in trouble for something I said about the Elf on the Shelf a couple of years ago. I got all kinds of really negative emails and texts and so on. Well, a judge in Cobb County, Georgia, has ruled that the Elf on the Shelf is banished from Cobb County. Now, everyone is assuming, he actually wrote an order, this judge did, Judge Rob Leonard. He actually wrote an order and published it, but it is assumed that he is joking. It's assumed it's a tongue-in-cheek letter, but it is an official letter from a judge. The order requests the Elf on the Shelf not show up in homes this holiday season. He says that kids can get upset when the elves don't move properly. He feels it's best when, with everything else going on, the pandemic and so on, to banish all elves from Cobb County. Now, he said, the reports are saying, the news reports are saying, it's a way for parents to be able to get rid of Elf on the Shelf and claim it wasn't my fault. Oh, you liked Elf on the Shelf, Georgie? I'm sorry, the judge said we couldn't have. So blame the judge. It's a blame the judge kind of thing. But I don't know. I don't know. If a judge issues an order, even if it's joking, isn't an order? I mean, doesn't a judge's order become official?
I would think, but I don't know.
Well, apparently in Cobb County, Georgia, all elves on the shelves have been banished from Cobb County, Georgia. We are, about 2 weeks away from Black Friday, right? 16 days from Thanksgiving, so just a little bit more than that for Black Friday.
17?
There is, what's that, Biff?
17 days?
17 days. I don't know what to make of this story, because it's one of these things I think may be overhyped. But on social media, and it's particularly on that website, Reddit. Now, Reddit is a huge, big website, and a lot of people pay attention to it. I have the app. I don't pay attention to it. My kids can quote Reddit to me all the time. Dad, I saw on Reddit today, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so primarily on Reddit and other social media, there are claims being made that workers will go on strike on Black Friday. If you read Reddit, for what it's worth, Redditors are claiming that the strike will start on Black Friday and would last for 10 days. A subreddit group, see, they got groups and subgroups, and it's way beyond me, called Black Friday Blackout was created right around Halloween time, and they have over 4,000 members right now. They say they are tired that, quote, the working class has been denied fair pay while the C-level staff and managers enjoy their third home, luxury lots, and extravagant vacations. So it's part of this class warfare kind of thing, income inequality issue. So they're threatening to go on strike on Black Friday. Again, there's websites out there, there's social media reports on this. There's a Facebook group for the Black Friday Blackout. Hashtag Black Friday Blackout is being used on Twitter. I have a feeling it's going to be a big bust. It's going to fizzle out. But I share it with you. Conceivably, you go out and do your shopping on Black Friday and workers won't be there. I don't think that's going to happen, but they say it might. So it's just something I think you ought to be aware of. The Blackout Friday could be coming on Black Friday. I don't even know why we have Black Friday this year, because all the big deals are already out just about everywhere. They traditionally are out before Black Friday. They're out this year particularly because we're worried about the supply chain stuff. And by Black Friday, seriously, by Black Friday, you may not be able to order things online if you're an online orderer. And we heard a survey last hour that said 68% of us are going to be ordering online this year. By Black Friday, if you order online, you may not get your gifts until after Christmas. I know I've said the story before, and I can't tell you what, but I bought 2 items a couple of weeks ago. I think I bought them before Halloween. And they're not to be delivered until December 11th, 12th, something like that. That was ordered in late October. So by Black Friday, forget the workers having a blackout. There just may not be anything for you to buy. All right, coming up in the next hour of the show, Brad McElhenney is going to join us from Metro News. Brad and I are going to kick around the infrastructure bill that was passed, what it might mean to West Virginia. Senator Manchin held a big media event yesterday, and Brad was part of that. Also, the Democrats in the State House were talking about it, and Governor Justice was talking about it. It is truly a bipartisan bill in West Virginia. You have McKinley, who voted for it in the House. You have Mooney, who voted against it. I think both, when it was in the Senate a number of months ago, I think both Capito and Manchin voted for it. So we'll talk about all of this coming up, the bipartisan infrastructure bill coming up with Brad McElhenney in the next hour of the show. And I still want to get to Big Bird, because some Republicans are all upset because Big Bird got a vaccination. It's Big Bird. I don't know what to do. Just about 9 o'clock here on the Watchdog Morning Show, heading over to the news desk from ABC. Then we'll talk to Brad for a while. And later on in the hour, we'll talk to Bob Westphal from the Big Seven. We still have plenty of territory yet to cover before I turn things over to Mr. Kercheval at 10.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC.
In a minute, Biffy. Whoa.